Now we will see how we can retrieve the same more than 5,000 items from SharePoint list using REST API, but this time we'll see how we can present the data using data tables. So we will discuss more often on that, how we can use the data table and how we can show this here. So I think I have covered these data tables in the previous videos we have gone through. So this is basically a plugin for jQuery or the JavaScript library. So it's based on top of that one, and it will help you to enhance our HTML table. So it will be having additional functionality on that. For example, it will be having paging, sorting, all these features in build. You are not writing a single line of code also for that. And this is the URL. So let me just show you how exactly we can work over there. So if you'll see here, this is the data tables, and this we can use it in the sites in using REST API code. We will see how we can bind that. But if you look at this table here, you can see here this. You can see how many, if you want to show 10 items, 20 items, 30 and 50 items, and then you can have a search box. You can see the paging, and then you can see here it will show you the total number of entries there. So you can go to any other page. If you'll search for let's say something, it will actually show you that. So it's really a very good HTML table structure where you can actually display your data. Now, this will be helpful for us when we are trying to retrieve more than 5,000 items. You can imagine this will be a large list and you want to display more than 5,000 items in a single page at once. You want to pick that item. Now, to use this, we have to use the some CDN, some CSS and JS references, the jQuery one, and then you have your own jQuery.datatable.min.js, and then similarly there is a CSS file that you can do. And you can have a single function. You can see here, I'll show you when we are binding also. You can see here my table.datatable, and your data will be binded over there. So very simple to use. There are a lot of features are available on that. For example, I don't want paging, I don't want sorting. So you can actually you can if you don't want search also, you have option where you can say searching false and it will not appear. So a lot of functionality are there. So the as I said, this installation is simple. So you can use just references. Either you can download the JS files, you can put in your any of your site asset library or somewhere, and then you can give that reference like normally how we give jQuery references like that way, or you can use the CDN file for that. So you can see here, this is the CDN locations where the CSS and jQuery table is presented over there. My suggestion will be you should go for the CDN because any update or anything will be there, it will be taken care. But a lot of time your company will have restrictions, so they will not allow you to do that. But jQuery, I mean, this is widely used, one of the popular, data tables structure that we are using. And then you can make your structure like this. I'll show you in our example. Apart from that also, there are various options that you can actually use. For example, this is paging false, so it will actually, your paging will not appear. Similarly, there will be scrolling, scroll, you can see here. There will be searching false, there will be sorting false. So you can use those parameters as well. So you can see the options over there. You can see here ordering false, searching false. So those your search will be disabled and your ordering will also be disabled. So that's how we can do. And then you have various other options to bind. So you can see here, you can bind from a array of objects. You can see here, and the data will be binded from that. So various options are there to bind. You can see here, this is what we are going to use. In fact, you can see here, this example has, this is your table name and HTML table name, the data table, and then you can see here columns. You can put anything, and then this right side were actually your column names, what you want to display. You will get a clear picture when I'll explain in our code, but you can see there's various options that you can actually bind. You can see here these nested objects you can bind. So a lot of things are there. I will suggest you go through some of the things from here first. And also you can see here paging false, scroll, it's the same thing. Now, how we can use it in our case? In fact, in the last example, I already explained in the REST API how we can get more than 5,000 items. Here also I'll explain that. So just to recap, so this is our large list. We have one column here, and which is having 5,050 items, and we'll see how we can pick all the items, and then finally we will show a result like this. So this will button click, and then this is the items you can see here. It is showing 1 of 10 of 50 entries, and then your paging, sorting, all other things are there. So this is how it is. And so now let me just quickly show you the code. So let me just increase the font size little bit here. um, so as I said, you have the option, you can use the jQuery reference files, and then jQuery data tables, your CSS file. This is absolutely necessary. These are the files required to functioning your data tables. And once you have this, then you can see here I have taken a button here. So the button submit, and then we are binding this click event. Before that, you can see here there's a table structure that I have made here. So look at this table structure in the PPT, and you can see here there's a table, and then it has one employee name, column name. Here you can make also left align. Now you can see here I have a table structure I have made. So on that we have basically added the th over there, one heading. So, and this is most important, you have to give one ID for that, ID for that table, because that ID we are going to use in our code. And then you have cell spacing, this are the properties, and width 100% I have given, so that it will cover my entire page while displaying the result. And then our this is a normal JavaScript or the jQuery things where you are assigning the on-click event to a function. So you can see here our button ID is btn submit, and we are calling the get list data method. So this method actually which we where we will retrieve the data and will bind into the table. Now, in this case, when we are trying to retrieve more than 5,000 items, then we cannot directly pull out the information, because it will show an error that you are crossing the list threshold ISO. So to avoid that, then we can use these things. So in this case, if you'll see here, this is web absolute URL. So we are getting the site URL, then get by title items. Then you can see here top 1,000. So every time what we are doing is we will retrieve the top 1,000 records. And I have taken one array of response object, so that whatever we will get uh, from this our query, it will be there on this. So basically the intention here is to pick 1,000 items. So 1,000 5 times, and then in the last one it will give 50 records. And this is our method. Now we are calling our REST call, get method, URL, header, those things. And then you can see here what we are doing is we are doing a concatenate on that. So whatever the data.d.results, remember when you are doing a REST call, your data.d.results will pull all the records from that. So you will get that record, and then dot next, and then you are making the URL, and then finally you can see here again we are calling it, because it will be a recursive call. So next time it will go and pick this thing again. Now once this recursive call you can see here, then this is the code we are binding into our table. So if you'll see here, our ID is employee. I told you that we need one to provide an ID, and this is the ID. So we said that dot data table is a method, and then we are giving the response here. So you can, this is not necessarily you can put any name on that, but this response is which contains our entire data here. And then this is quite important on this case, we destroy true. What it will do is it will actually in the runtime it will destroy the table, and then it will create again. So finally the last one will be there, and then you will see this, you can see. And if you'll not see, if you'll not put this, then you will get an error. Let me just show you that. So this is the error that you are going to get. You can see here cannot reinitialize the data table. For more information, you go there. So that's the thing that you will get it. So then sorting false, I have done a sorting false so that we can see the records from, because it is item hyphen one. So if I'll not make it, then you will see item hyphen one, then item hyphen 10, then 100, like this. You will not see serially. And then if you'll see here, this is what is the column. So aim data, this you can put any name over there, but most important is here. So you are assigning this title over there, the first column. So we have anyway one column. So if you have more column, you can put in this one. So where you can add, where you can show all these columns. Um, and then what we can do is you can see here on error, on if there's error handler. So because in the REST API, two things will be there: success method and your error method. So error method, you can handle any code. Now let me just copy it, and then I will go over here. I will go to my page here. This is a web part page. I'll click on edit, and you can see here add a web part. And on this, you can see here media and content script editor web part. So you can use script editor web part, you can use content editor web part. I mostly prefer script editor web part, but you can use actually content editor web part. You just make a file, HTML file, and then you one HTML file and one JS file. So in the HTML file, you put the HTML code, and in the JS file, you can have your JS code, and then finally you give a reference of your JS file in your HTML page. So you can actually put everything in the site asset library or anywhere, and then finally you can add a content editor web part, and you can give the HTML file path here. So this will work. This will work the same way. Now click on this get list data, and then you can see here it is actually showing all your items. So you can see here the paging 300, 400, it is going on. You can see here, and 500 pages, and you can see here 1 2 3 like this. And if I'll go to the last page, you can see here item 50 50, I can see here. And you can see the pages that you can check here, because we have shown here 10 records. So if you can easily show, I want to show 50 records, so you can see here now it is showing 50 records to us. It is quite lightweight, and you can actually you can actually use this, and you can display this. You will not face any a performance issue basically if you are trying to retrieve more items. So I'll prefer this. You can use the data tables this plugin, so that you can use with REST API, and to you can bind the data over there. So this is how we can use on the REST API side, how we can use it. We will see, as I said before, we'll see on CSUM and JSON as well, how we can retrieve more items, more than 5,000 on that.